Hello, plannerets. How are you? Day 21 of my Mindful Messy March 30-day challenge, where I show up here on YouTube, messy, scared, doubtful, prepared, having fun, whatever it is. I've given myself this challenge of showing up not only for myself, but you as well, my dear plannerets. Before we get started, let us have a look and say hello to Ronnie Cat. Nice to see you. Thank you so much. Cindy, hello. How are you? And Lisa, hi. How are you? Thank you so much. So today I just want to discuss getting unstuck when self-doubt creeps in. So if you've ever felt stuck or doubted yourself while trying to move yourself forward, you're not alone, because feeling stuck and numb can be actually quite frustrating, especially when you know deep down that you're capable, but you still find yourself held back by, those self-doubt, the thoughts in your head. So I've been feeling that way lately, the last couple of days, as I look for a full-time job, and self-doubt has been creeping in as I peruse the job market and all the different job descriptions and roles that are available out there. But today, what I want to do is I want to take the time to control my thoughts using my planner, and I want to show you exactly how I'm doing it step by step. So hopefully you too, if you are in the same position, whatever it is, if there's self-doubt or limiting beliefs, or you're just feeling stuck for whatever reason, hopefully the things that I'm going to be doing for myself to help me get through those emotions and through those anxious moments, that hopefully it can be valuable for you as well. Or maybe later down the track, you feel some sort of self-doubt or limiting beliefs, you will know this video will be available for you when you are in that position. Laura, nice to see you. Hello, thank you so much for joining me. So grab your planner, a notebook, or just watch along, and do let me know in the live chat if you are here on the live, or of course if you are watching on the replay, what one area of your life where you're feeling stuck right now. So let me know and let's get going. Let's go. Okay, the lovely button wasn't working. So these are the steps that I have taken in the past to get through anxious moments, not just when I'm feeling stuck, but anytime I'm feeling anxious. And that that feeling in the middle of your chest or in your throat, where you just don't know you actually know what you're supposed to do, because you've written it down, you've planned for it, and yet somehow you're frozen. So your mind has just gone, I don't want us to take the next step, because it's either something of fear, we're fearful about something, we're unsure, or it's just a lot easier to stay where we are. So the first thing that I want us to do is, so let me show you my planner, because of course I'm going to use my planner and all the planner pages that I have to help me plan and journal my way through it. So the first thing I want to do is acknowledge how I'm feeling, because it's important that if I don't write it down, this is for me, and I know it's been scientifically proven, there's lots of research on it, that by getting things out of your head and onto paper, well, first of all, it's some sort of a release. You get to see it more clearly when it's written down, and it's not bouncing around in your head, gathering momentum and making you feel more anxious, doubt yourself even more, think all the negative things. Okay, so the first thing is acknowledge it, and we're going to write our feelings down. So here's a journaling prompt that I want you to use when you are feeling stuck and those thoughts in your head is just, you can't shake it. Okay, so open your journal. Now, you can use a blank page, you can use your journal, if you have a dedicated journaling planner or notebook, or of course, you can also use, I have a freebie, a brain dumping printable download, so you can get that. The details are in the description. So you sign up for my free weekly email newsletter and you get these different free planner printable download. And this one is just a brain dump where you just write down how you're feeling. Okay, so write everything down. You're feeling, no filters and no judgment. Your self-doubt, write it down. You're fearful of something, write it down. You're overwhelmed about a lot of things, write it down. So I actually have a created myself, and of course, I do have it available in my shop, where I have dedicated sort of like to make it still, I guess, enjoyable for me, the process, because sometimes when we write our feelings down, it might cause even more angst, more fear, because we are bringing those emotions to the surface. So along the way, I also want to make sure that somewhere there that I'm getting some sort of satisfaction and joy and mindfulness activity. So I do have a brain dump, a collection of brain dump pages. This one, I call this one my little worry log, for when I'm feeling like those thoughts are coming up. So this little cloud here, so it's my worry log, and I can just still make it pretty. So even though I'm dealing with such, difficult emotions, I still want to make sure that I am finding some mindfulness practice out of it. Okay, so the first thing I do is I just go grab my colorful markers, because I'm going to, while working through my emotions and writing it down with no filter, I still somehow want to make it an enjoyable process, because I'm, because, at the same time, I want to start feeling some sort of accomplishment, some sort of joy. And I know that my planner helps me with that. And that is why I created, or I use my planner, not just for when I'm feeling good or I've got my task to do, but also when I am feeling those emotions that are a little bit more difficult to work through. So even though, yes, you might be feeling overwhelmed, you might be feeling stuck, you might be doubtful or you're fearful, still infuse some sort of mindfulness and some sort of joy into it, because we want our brain to also be spotting some, joyful moments. And here, just the art of writing and creating a heading in, whatever page you're using, but creating a colorful heading will tell your brain that, look, even though we may have to write down these difficult emotions, it's a great opportunity for us to work through it. So then our brain won't fear the actual act of journaling, because then it's going to go, it's all right, Marianne, because even when you are writing things like, right now I feel unsure of, what job I want to look for. So the thing that's, for those of you that's just joining me, at the moment I'm feeling stuck with regards to looking for a full-time job, because while I'm looking at the, what the roles involve, the self-doubt, can I do that? I don't have the experience for that. I've been out of the workforce for the last 6 years. Am I, do I have the capabilities? So those are the self-doubt and limiting beliefs that are surfacing and bubbling to the top. So whatever circumstance you are in at the moment, where those anxious moments and anxious thoughts go in, write it down. But I know sometimes some of you have said, I don't want to write it down because it might bring up things from the past, things that might be difficult. But then what happens is, if we hold on to it and we don't release it, what happens? It starts to grab momentum, and it can get worse. And then if we don't acknowledge it and we don't just release it, it's going to make us feel worse, doesn't it? I know I've done that, where I've hung on to resentment. Hang on to anger, right? It bubbles and brews and it gets worse. And, I know for me, when I get angry with my husband, it's like all the things from 1999 come up, all the things he did that made me upset, right? So it's important that we acknowledge it, and at the same time, through our journaling and planning, infuse some sort of a joyful moment. So then our brain will go, yes, it might be a difficult moment, but let's also remember that this is a great time for you to just stop, acknowledge your feelings, and just let out the emotions. Okay, so let's quickly have a look at the chat and see what's happening. Ronnie Cat says, I have to take a test, but was feeling, what if I fail? So I have to study hard so I don't get embarrassed. Yes, so there's that fear of, what if I don't do well, right? So if those emotions are coming up, write it down. Again, no filter, no judgment, doesn't have to be grammatically correct, right? So you can put right now. So of some of these feelings that I'm going to write down are going to be a little bit personal, so I won't go into details myself of the things, but some of the prompts we can put. Okay, right now, I feel scared. Okay, scared that I may not be good at, the role, scared that I may not be good. Okay, so Ronnie Cat, thank you for sharing your feelings. So might be that I'm scared that if I start, even if I study, that I might fail, and then I'm going to feel embarrassed and feel, well, not feel good about it. So write it down, get it out of your head. Thank you so much for doing that. Lisa, feeling stuck on my health journey. So yes, same thing for me. I know for me, my workout, I write it down. I have it in my habit tracker. I put there, I've broken it down in small actionable pieces, and I've written down both, just the smallest amount, 2 minutes or 5 minutes walking, to 30 minutes to 45 minutes. And yet sometimes I also don't do it because I procrastinate. It's not so much that I don't know what to do, because I've written it down. There's no fear for me. Okay, there's no fear that what if I exercise that something wrong might happen. But for me, the procrastination or feeling stuck might be that it's just easier not to do anything. So I understand too that yes, our health journey can leave us feeling unsure, scared, doubtful. Write those feelings down, because what happens is, if we don't write it down, yes, we may be great and happy, tomorrow, and we're excited about something, then it'll start creeping in again the following day, the following week. So write it down, how I'm feeling. Um, Lisa I was feeling stuck years ago, and now the test comes up. Maybe things will be revealed when it's time. Exactly, yes. And sometimes also, really important, not to worry about anything until that moment comes, because then, but what do they say, why worry about it twice? So you're worrying about it now, scared of what test and your what the health journey might reveal. For me, when I had my very first, I know at 50 I've left it a little bit late, my very first breast screening test. And there are history in my mum's side of the family of breast cancer, and I'm thinking, what if something gets found? But then I went, no, I'll worry about it when the test results and if something does get found. So I actually had to talk myself into not worrying. And that's when our journaling and our planning will help. Well, talk about how we can reframe or challenge some of these thoughts that do come up. So yes, it's hard. It's easy for us, for those outside, to go not to worry about it, but then you do think about it. And for me, thankfully, no breast cancer was detected. So I'm going to make sure now that I do it on, I think it's every 3 years that you should have a breast screening test after 50. So I thank you so much, Ronnie, Kat, and Lisa, for sharing those things that are feeling, making you feel stuck at the moment. Hello, Brenda. Nice to see you. Thank you so much for coming in. No, perfect time, perfect time. Mary Ellie, hello. Thank you so much for joining me. Marianne, just think I am great and can do any job I put my mind to. Go in there as they need you more than you need them. Positivity rules. And yes, those are the things that will come up when I go through the steps on how you can get yourself unstuck when you are feeling doubtful, those limiting beliefs that come up. I've been feeling stuck lately my on the next move I need to make from my goals. So this is a great opportunity to work through those feelings. So the first one that I have put is write down how you're feeling. No filter, no judgment, just everything. So one of the prompts is right now I feel, and just write those words. You know how when we're asking young children, how do you feel at the moment? Just sad, happy, angry, scared, doubtful. Write those words, okay? And then the other one could be the thoughts. So here's another prompt if you're trying to figure out how can I write my feelings down? The thoughts holding me back are the thoughts holding me back are. So some of the thoughts that's holding me back is, what if I don't like the job that I go for, right? So what if I don't enjoy the job I get? Okay, the job I get. Okay, because sometimes one of the things that I have, the choices that I made when deciding that I will search for a full-time job outside of the home is, my family's well-being comes first. So I may have to put my, content creation aside and my creativity and having to be around my community to ensure the well-being of my family is a top priority. But then in the back of my mind, the thoughts holding me back looking for a job is, oh, what if I go for a job that, yes, may pay well and will meet all the financial needs our household requires, but what if for the moment, I go for a role that maybe my colleagues won't be great or my boss won't be good, because then, after 6 years of being my own boss and my own entrepreneur and doing all this, those thoughts are holding me back. So I'm going to write that down, how I'm feeling. Also, if there's things that are holding you back, you can talk to that fear. So if I can talk to my fear, so a prompt could be, if I can talk to my self-doubt, okay, so for me, I'm feeling the self-doubt and the limiting beliefs, okay, limiting beliefs, what would I say? What would I say? Okay, so things could be, the things I would say to my self-doubt is, Marianne, the self-doubt are creeping in because you haven't, slept a good night's sleep, or you haven't gone outside and done your movement activities. So those are the things I can also say and write down when I need to acknowledge and release my feelings. Okay, so another doubtful is, what if I'm not qualified? Okay, so I go in there and then I find, the system they use, because not I have confidence in myself. I know I can do the job. But this is when the self-doubt creeps in and the limiting beliefs. And it's not, we're not perfect. We're not always going to be happy all the time and feel confident all the time. But it's having the right tools and strategies, planning techniques, and journaling and mindfulness activities that help you get through it. Okay? It's not always sunny. However, the blue sky is always behind those clouds or those storms. So I know deep down that I can do it, but it's when they come up, what do we do? And this is just the first step. Write it down. What if I'm not qualified? What if, they Find I'm a fraud. Find I'm a fraud. Okay. So again, no judgment. No, don't go, that's wrong, Marianne, to feel that way. You have to validate your feeling. They're neither good nor bad. They are just a messaging system to you to say you're feeling this way because it's a new venture. It's something you haven't done in a long time. You haven't been around other people in real life for a long time. So they are valid. That's why there is no judgment when you are acknowledging and releasing your feeling. Okay? Just write it down, because then the next step is we'll work through it. Okay? So I'm not qualified. I feel doubtful. I feel like, what if they find out I'm a fraud? Whatever it is. So some examples we have here. What if this test results are not good? Or what if I don't do well in the test? Or what if my health it might be suffering? All those different things. Write it down. Those thoughts and feelings are no good stuck in your head, because they will just bounce from side to side, wall to wall, gather momentum, and make you feel even more doubtful, even more fearful. Okay, write it down. So those are just some of the limiting beliefs. Oh, another one is, what if I apply for roles or jobs and I don't get, for a job that I like, and I don't get hired, right? Rejection, and a feeling of rejection is real. It's not fun, is it, right? And I don't get hired, okay? So remember, this is my example. The reason why I'm showing you this is so then you know in real life how I'm using the acknowledging and releasing my feelings. This is what I'm going through at the moment. I could easily not share it and just be happy-go-lucky, but then that's when you guys will only see the happy fun stuff, right? The whole point of me sharing the things in real time, in real life, is so then you can go and have a think yourself, all right, okay, well, mine is not job hunting, mine is this, mine is that, right? So sometimes having someone walk alongside you helps you carry the load, carry the burden a little bit easier, and let you know that you're not alone. Okay, I feel this. I don't know. I think I have ADHD tendencies. I've gone to my doctor and said, should I get tested? And a lot of times, well, look, if you feel that might have tendencies, ADHD tendencies, I know I'm already doing a lot of the things that I see, the strategies of planning, journaling, writing things down, planning ahead, and things like that. Okay, so that's the reason why I've had lots of doubtful thoughts since I was a young girl. Okay, since what I was little, and there's nothing traumatic in my past, because sometimes I go, have I repressed it so much that I don't know, right? It's just, I think at that's my brain. Remember how the other day how our brain works is important, that we acknowledge how our brain works, and how we see the world is going to be different from everyone else. But there's strategies that we can use to help us walk through this world in a way that fits our lifestyle. Same thing when we are gonna get ourselves unstuck. All right, so let's quickly have a look. Ronnie Cat says, I had started to get frustrated, and that is when I decided to write my feelings in a journal book, and things started to get better. Exactly. Now, remember, for those of you that might be new to journaling and acknowledging and writing your feelings down, doing that is not going to solve everything right away. There's more steps. We got to work through it. Just like any habit, we got to do it again and again. So, you may not feel stuck all the time, but at least when you do, you know what to do. And this is what it is when those feelings come up, it's like I know those who have taken my plan with purpose courses, if you can think of all these planning, journaling, mindfulness, self-care, well-being activities that I talk about, they are tools in your tool belt. Okay, you're not going to use it each and every tool all the time. However, there's some tools that won't work for some certain feelings, right? So it's easier to hammer a nail with a hammer rather than a screwdriver. So just think all these things that I share with you: planning, embellishing, self care, well being, journaling, brain dumping. Those are the tools in your tool belt for when you are feeling the different spectrum of emotions that you go through, when you are having to face different tasks, different productivity, different events. Those are the tools. So all I'm giving is sharing the tools that I use to help me manage my emotions, especially when I feel stuck. Okay, so I love it. I love it. These are great questions. Thank you, Mary Ellie. Thank you so much. Um, I understand, because you made me think, what if I had to go for a job today? Most of the companies I work for are no longer around. Exactly. And so it's really important. Yes, we need to get ourselves out there, but anytime these niggling thoughts, write it down. They're no good up there. Best to write it down on paper. Okay. And then, so I'm going to go through all the other thoughts and feelings and doubts and fears that I have. You can, again, this is part of my brain dump printable download. So I have this one with a little worry cloud, and I just wrote how I'm feeling. So then that way, even though it's probably not the best type of emotions to be referring to when I'm opening my planner, it's still giving me that sense of happiness and colorfulness. Okay. You can also use the brain dump printable, which is freebie when you sign up for my weekly email newsletter. Okay, so I'm going to write more. Of course, some of them I won't share because they're a little bit more personal, and they maybe dig deeper, a little bit deeper. And the same with you. No one else will see your journal and how you're feeling. So be open, write it down, don't hold back, because it's like as if, if you hold back one thing, it's like that little, when you get is it a splinter? Is that what it is? It's just a tiny little splinter, but it hurts and you have to get it out. Get it out of your head. Now, the next thing is, once you've gotten all of this out of your head, right, we're going to reframe them. So what I normally do, I have this printable, they're all part of the same listing. So this one is more a thought bubbles. So thought bubble. So I'm going to just put here, reframe. Okay, reframe. Okay, still making it pretty. Again, even the act of making it colorful little heading, this is already slowing me down. This is already a mindfulness activity. Okay, having to go and pick the colorful marker. Me here, I'm just doing outlining the outline of each letter with a black pen. I am focusing on the moment, right? It's stopping my mind from rushing ahead and thinking, oh, but you're no good, Marianne, you're hopeless, and all the stuff that would normally come up. Okay, so I'm just going to leave that. So it's now time to reframe. So if you can do it on the same piece of paper, or you can write it on a different piece of paper, what I might do is I might reframe. I'm going to use the same. Where is my other pink one? Okay, I cannot find. So this is I was going to use the pink one, so then it's a different color. What does this look like? Okay, I cannot spot it in my, oh dear, that's okay. All right, so I'm going to just use green. Okay, so I'm just going to use a green pen. So reframe. Next to each fee, write a counter statement. Okay, so let's have a look. Okay, so if you're watching, I want you to try it now. Write down one limiting belief. Some of you have shared it on the live chat. If you're watching on replay, do this with me and follow along, especially if you're feeling stuck right now, right? Even if it's a little stuck, it doesn't have to be big, overwhelming. self-doubt, limiting belief, procrastination, imposter syndrome. It can just be a little stuck, right? Because sometimes, like I said, that tiny little splinter can be painful if we don't get it out. Okay, so what I want you to do is have a look at all the different things you've acknowledged, and we're going to go counteract it, challenge it. I'm going to challenge it. Right now, I feel scared that I might not be good. Okay, am I not good? Well, no, I am good. I am good. I can do anything. I can do anything, and the rest, I can figure it out. And the rest, right? So if I can't do it, the rest, I can figure it out. I can figure it out. So see how now I am challenging it, because it's now I've given myself that little bit of space from my thought. It's now not stuck in there brewing, thinking, I'm not good, I'm not good, I'm not good. I wrote it down. I've got the space. Right now, I feel scared that I might be no good. Okay, let's challenge it. Marianne, are you really no good? Well, no. I know that I can, whatever I put my mind to, I do a good job. If I can't, then I'll ask someone for help, or I'll search and try and figure out how to do it. But I know that that is not true. Okay, so same thing with yours. Okay, so for those of you that have shared yours, your health journey, right? So what you're scared of? What if is that the truth right now? The fear that you have, is that happening right now? Well, no, it's just my fear of what might be. So challenge it. Put a counter statement, and make sure that you're really being honest with yourself and say, okay, what happens if I fail the test? Right? So you said, you might feel embarrassed. Okay, yeah, it'll probably be embarrassing. For who? For you? Will anyone else care? Well, maybe. Okay. All right. So who would you feel embarrassed, about with? Okay. Let's say poor Bob. I love using Bob as an example. Oh, Bob will go look at me and say, "Ha ha ha," you didn't do well. Okay. In 10 minutes, what Bob says, will that matter? Well, probably, because it's the beginning of the day and I have to look at him every day. Okay, in 10 weeks' time, will it matter that you didn't do well in the test? No, because probably I'll go and take the test again, or I'll study again, or in 10 years' time. So this is called the 10-10-10 rule. However you're feeling right now and whatever fear you have, will it matter in 10 minutes? Most likely. Will it matter in 10 weeks? Probably not. Or maybe it might sting still a little bit, because you might be hanging around the same people. But in 10 years, will it matter? So that's a good way to counteract that fear. All right, so what is the next one? The thoughts holding me back are, what if I don't enjoy the job I get? It's okay. I can go look for a job if I really don't like it. So if I really don't like the job, I can look for another one. How, like, just me challenging that thought, I'm going, oh yeah, I've done that before, where I've gone for a job thinking it'd be great, the money was great, the company was a well-known one. I go in there and it's like, the culture is not good. Guess what I did? I looked for another job. So that's what I can do. I've challenged it. If I really don't like the job, I can look for another one. Okay, look for a new one. Okay, so what we're doing here is we're acknowledging how we're feeling and we're reframing it or challenging it or putting a counter statement. So have a think with your current thought, fear, self-doubt, limiting belief, imposter syndrome, feeling like you're a fraud, whatever thoughts you're feeling right now, challenge it. Okay, so let me quickly have a look at the chat. Okay, so I would go through the reframing with all of these. So things that I could reframe is, I have the experience that will make me a great fit for whatever role I have, or I can learn and grow in any role. Okay, so in your planner, what you can use is then dedicate a space in your planner to help you with positive affirmations. And if you can't think up of your own positive affirmation, when you where is it? Where is my positive affirmation? Right? Daily affirmations. Guess what? This is also a freebie. Okay? So if you're new to my channel and go, where do I get all these freebies? Okay? So when you sign up, this little picture still has February, but I've got March print free cover page. But there's a QR code. All you got to do is sign up for my email newsletter and you'll get access to the freebies in a welcome email pack or welcome email. All right. And so this printable, right, you can pick one. All right. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, I stay calm under pressure. Do you know where you put those? In your planner, right? You can find a dedicated space. Or let's have a look right now. What did I say was one of them? One of them. Let's have a look. I will show you in real time how you can now help reframe those thoughts that you're feeling, right? Challenge it. And then in your planner, we're going to create some positive affirmations to replace the negative thinking. So what I can do, let's have a look. Where is my gray? So which one can I do? I take things one step at a time. Okay, so I'm going to put that here. What did I say? What did I say? I take things one at a time. Okay, so that's all I got to do, right? So you can write it in a colorful marker, you can write it in a small writing and then just, box it or frame it so it stands out. So that is a way for you on how to help you create positive affirmations in your day-to-day planner. See, we're journaling and we're planning, and this is only step one. And so far, I'm starting to feel lighter. How about you? Let me know in the chat, or if you're in the replay, if you're doing this with me in real time, or you're writing down any of your fears, doubts, and limiting beliefs, or anything that's getting you stuck, and that you challenged it, and you said to yourself, well, okay, maybe maybe I am a good mother, maybe I am a good wife, maybe I am a good friend, maybe I am a good employee, right? So you're challenging it, and then to solidify that reframing and making sure that you are replacing them with positive thinking and positive affirmation in your planner, write it down. Make it pretty, make it colorful. Now, for me, my theme for the week this week is the black and white and the gray. So I just used a gray marker, but still, right? I'm writing it down. So then when I look at my Saturday daily planner, or if you plan on a weekly basis, you can then see a positive affirmation that will remind you that yes, you are a great mother, that yes, you can manage, that yes, if things go wrong, you can figure things out along the way. Okay, so let me just put this so then that way I already have my positive affirmation for tomorrow, or at least for this page. So even if I'm looking at this page today, I've got this right in my face. Okay, so dedicate a section in your planner for daily affirmations to challenge and reframe those negative thoughts. And if you don't know what type of positive affirmations, I've got 35 of them, enough for 5 weeks worth, and I've grouped them into building confidence. So if you're taking a test, that's a good one. Overcoming overwhelm, looking ahead, right? So if you're fearful of the future, looking ahead, I am in charge of my life, I attract opportunities for growth. Oh, that could be a good one for me too. I attract opportunities for growth and I attract, good roles. Okay. What do we think? If you are liking so far and we're only on number one, let me know. Ronnie Cat, there is a saying here, suck salt until you can do better. Oh, I love that one, although I do love salt. Sea salt. Mm. Hello, Gail. Nice to see you. Thank you so much for joining. Okay, so far we have when we get stuck, write it down, acknowledge and release your feelings. No filter, no judgment. Okay, so far so good. The next step is create a daily routine, and this is where our planner comes in. Okay, so you want to set up your morning routine. Okay, so who watched my video? Which one was it? I can't remember now. About the top 3 rules. Setting top 3 priorities for your day. So if nothing else gets done, if your 1, 2, or 3 top priorities get completed, it's a win. You've made progress because in those top 3 priorities, those are the things that are important to you, that matter to you, right? So your key areas of focus. So then it's not just about getting the emails done, all the tasks and to-dos. Yes, we do more things than just the top 3. But if we start to feel overwhelmed, like I did the other day, or yesterday, what did I do? I was able to do my strength training. That's just, me doing squats and using my dumbbell. So yesterday I was so stuck. So I just went, what do I need to do? Well, let's look at our habit tracker. Let's look at our to-do list. Okay, what did you say you needed to do, Marianne? It said to do strength training. All right, well, go have a look at your strength training then. What are the things that you've written down? It says, what was it, Thursday? Bicep curls, overhead tricep. These are using just 1 kilogram dumbbells. So, and this is just at home here next to my desk. Right, even though I live in an apartment block that has a dedicated gym with like pretty brand new equipment, but it's 4 floors down and I have to go around the building. So even though we pay for it as part of our rent, I should use it more often. But see, those are the things that make me feel stuck. So I made it easy for myself, and I have 1 or 2 kilogram dumbbells just on a little shelf there, and I've got my little yoga mat. Okay, so write down top 3 things. So things, and also a great thing is write down things you're grateful for. Start your day with positive things. So if you're feeling stuck right now, think you can do tonight as well as tomorrow morning is write down 1, 2, or 3 things you are grateful for. I am grateful for my mind, for those that are studying, that I can study. I'm grateful for, the health system maybe where you are, that you can see a doctor, that you can get, medical help, okay? That you have air conditioning or heater, depending on what part of the world you are. If it's cold, that you have heater, that you have food, that you have clothes. Remember, the things you're grateful for does not have to be grand. What did I write that I was grateful for? I'm grateful for Edward, my husband. It says, just for everything, because he has put up with so much of my up and down mood, probably not just, normal up and down, probably my perimenopause, different, moods that are 1 minute I'm all lovey-dovey and the next I'm screaming at him, right? So things that you're grateful for, write it down. If you're feeling stuck and overwhelmed throughout the day, anchor both ends of your day with gratitude log. What are you grateful for before you go to sleep? What are you grateful for when you wake up? Okay, let's quickly have a look. Yes, watched it. Is on Project Gutenberg now because they normally go out of copyright stuff. Let me have a look quickly. Florence Scovel wrote a book called The Game of Life and How to Play It that has wonderful affirmation. It's old enough. It's out of copyright. Okay, so yes, so just all those things. And then also look at Pinterest. There's I've just put quotes, positive affirmations. I just normally just Google it. It's like, I'm feeling stuck today. What positive thing can I write in my planner that's only a few words? Sometimes I'll go, oh, that's too long. It'll take up all the space in my daily planner. Just what you are doing great, one step at a time. What else? Let go and move forward. I don't have to have everything figured out. Those things that I will help you reframe the negative thoughts. And of course, not only should you do your gratitude journaling or gratitude log. Again, they don't have to be long. One sentence. I'm grateful for the health of my children. I am grateful for kind, loving young boys. All right. So I have two sons. Those things. Okay. So for me, now, actually, I have it in the description. I did there where I broke down the big task or big task into projects. So I've actually done the hard work with breaking down, creating small actionable things. So, get a full-time job by the end of March. All right. So I've written down all the small actionable steps that I need to do. But because my limiting belief and I got stuck, that's where I went, okay, I have this task. So me not looking for a job at the moment is not because I don't know what to do. I do, because I wrote down my big task into small actionable steps. It's the fear, right? So that was where where I got stuck, the fear, the self doubt, the limiting beliefs. So for the step of creating a daily routine, well, I have that already. If you don't, have a look. What is it that you need to do? So if you need to study, now I'm using Ronnie Cat's example because she shared earlier what things might have been stuck. So if you need to feel like, you're taking a test and or my son, actually, he's in the last year of his high school. So there's lots of assessments, there's lots of tests that will make, the end of year assessment. So if he wanted to go to university or tertiary education, that you have to get a certain uh, score to be able to get into the university you want. So all the assessments and tests throughout the year will add up and give him a score. So he's taking drama, he's taking history, he's taking English. And so today I think it's English. He has an English test. So he felt like he hadn't prepared enough, and he had a work last night. So he was feeling quite anxious, and I said, do the best you can, go and study for an hour, have a break, because there's no point trying to cram it all in, and then all you're doing is trying to make yourself more anxious and stressful. So he did that. And then make sure you go to bed early, because if you try and study all night, you're going to wake up or feeling tired, and then cognitively your brain won't work. All right, so those things is what small actionable steps can you do. So for me, I'm going to look for job listings for 30 minutes. So I'll put the timer on for 30 minutes and I'll focus. All right, look at the website that has all the job roles, and then just do that for 30 minutes. And then the next step that I can take is apply for one job a day, instead of feeling overwhelmed by trying to put applications for, I think I had one stage there, look for 3 jobs. Where was that? Apply for 3 jobs. Okay, that was on Wednesday, and I moved it forward, put an arrow, because I didn't do it because I was just overwhelmed, because I started looking at jobs and I was just looking at all the skills that you need. I was like, oh, I don't know if I can do that. And then I spiraled. And so that's what led me to create this video. So then that way, if you too are feeling stuck, overwhelmed, fearful, doubting everything that you're doing at the moment, you can have a step-by-step planning and journaling guide to help you work through it. Okay, so the other thing I can do in my daily routine is connect with one person in my network. So I've actually done that. I've emailed two people that, are in an industry that I'm interested in and said, hey, I'm going back into joining the workforce again. Let me know if there is any opportunities in these roles. I'm open to, any communication that you have. So I've done that. So I'm actually quite proud of that. You know what? What I'm going to do, because the next step when you're creating a daily routine is write one success or positive moment. And guess what? That's when the victory log comes in. Okay, so I'm going to write here. So this is a victory log, which is part of the Ultimate Planner Bundle printable. So where is my victory log? I think it is up here, right? So I know I didn't write it down. So on Tuesday, the 18th, let's write it down. The 18th, okay. Um, let me see. I want a different color. Let's do blue. Where is my blue? Blue, okay. I'm gonna use this one. Oh no, I've already used that color. See, even the art of picking the right color. So networked. I networked with two people. Okay, so that is a positive victory log or a win that I did on the 18th. So see, I remembered, and it's like here I am thinking that I haven't done anything when actually I just needed to go and make sure I celebrated my win. So at the end of the day, have a reflection of one success or positive moment, even if it's small. Because remember, I told you when you go and focus on things you're grateful for, things that you are positive, the wins, the brain will actually start to filter all the input that it's putting, giving you throughout the day. Thousands and thousands of input come in, visual, sensory, touch, taste, right? So, but when you start to focus on things you're grateful for, your wins, positive affirmations, guess what? Your brain will start to spot them more and more. Okay, so that's where a victory log comes in. So that is part of the Ultimate Planner Bundle printable, all these printable that I have ready for the week. Okay, and so before, another mindful activity I can do before I do a job search, before I go on my 30-minute job search, is I can do a short 5-minute breathing exercise, or look at my meditation app to help calm my nerves. So then when I do look at those roles and positions and the skills you need for that job, I won't feel stuck and frozen and think that I can't do it. So again, for you, whatever you're stuck with at the moment, right? Create a daily routine, right, in the evening or at night, what you're grateful for. Write down in your planner small actionable steps that you can take. At the end of the day, write down what a win is or a positive moment, even if it's small. And then if you feel like you're going to feel anxious, maybe, going to a test or going to a meeting, center yourself and just step away. Close your eyes if you can, and even just do 5 deep breaths. All right, so I normally use my hand. Okay, so breathe in, hold, breathe out, and do that for either a minute or for 5 deep breaths. Or if you have your little doodle sketchbook, start doodling some fun things in there. That's a nice mindful activity that will help slow you down, focus yourself in the moment. Okay, so here's a question. What's one tiny action you can take this week to help you move forward in an area where you feel stuck? So let me know. Let me know. Let's see where we are at. This is so timely. Oh, fantastic. I love it. And this is where sometimes it's so important that we have a community that that we are like-minded, not just for the fun stuff and the the fun joyful activity stuff, but knowing that you're not alone in the way you feel. We might have different situations, okay? For those of you, some of you are already in your retirement years, so you're not looking for a job, so you can easily go, well, that's not, I have no worries about looking for a job, right? But the essence of our feelings and our overwhelm are still the same. Just the situation might be different, but we can also work through it the same way. And for us, our connection is our planner, our journaling, writing things down, not just about productivity, but self care, our well being, making sure we are putting ourselves on top of that priority list. For years, I never done that. For years, I wanted to climb the corporate ladder, be the man, move from one role to the next, getting more pay. And all I thought at the time in my 20s and in 30s is, the success was to have the title and then let go of all the things that's important to me and looking after myself. And then that's when the self doubt, never addressed the self doubt on limiting beliefs because I probably buried it with trying to work harder, getting more promotions. Okay, so now in our years where we have the ability to go, you know what, they're right, put the oxygen mask on first. But sometimes a lot of us have never had that practice, right? Because we feel guilty. We feel like taking time for ourselves or self care will put us back, will delay things even more. And then that way, then that means our work will pile on for those of us, that have lots on our to do list. So it's really important. What's one tiny action you can take this week to move you forward in an area where you feel stuck? So for me, my stuck at the moment is looking for a full-time job. Okay, so lovely. Yes, I think that's correct spelling of her name. Okay, so of course, if you are liking so far the 2 steps that we have talked about, that is acknowledging your feelings and letting it all out on paper, and then creating a daily routine, let me know if this has been some aha moments or you've gone, I'm going to try that. Okay, so if this sounds helpful, hit that like button. And of course, if you feel comfortable enough to share it with someone that you think might also find it helpful, just send them the link. Okay, so let's quickly have a look. What do we have next? Number 3. Okay, write down my capabilities. So this is when we are now going to use our journaling again, right? So whether you have just a pretty journal to write down all the things that's in your head, we're going to write about a time when we succeeded in something new, or we succeeded in an area that's similar to how we're feeling at the moment. Okay, we're going to ask ourselves, how did we do it? How did we grow? How did we move through such a moment? And what skills did I use? All right, so what I'll do next, so where are we? So far, I wrote down how I'm feeling. I even challenged it and counteract the thought. And now, or you can write it. So here I've written it together, but you can create a reframe. So this could be the journaling prompt. Okay, so what could be, where's my pen now? Okay, write about a time when you succeeded in something new. Oh, well, I've looked for jobs in the past before. Okay, so I'm going to write it down. So I've applied for positions in an industry. Okay, so because this one I'm the time that I've succeeded, I'm connecting it together. So it's looking for a job. So I'm going to go, all right, let's have a look at a time that I looked for a job. Right? I've applied for positions in an industry that I did not know anything about, that I did not know anything about, but I was successful. I reached my KPIs. I was awarded, okay, for my work. Okay, So then, for those of you who are feeling stuck at the moment, have a think. In a similar situation in the past, have I succeeded before when I was feeling this same way, or I was faced with the same in the same position? And then you go, have a think back, right? How did I grow? Okay, so how did I grow? There was training, right? So there was training. All right. So even if I know I may not have the skills and experience for, some of the things that they're looking for, a lot of them, it says there, full training provided. So I'm a good learner. I know I'm a good learner. I can learn things. And if there's things that I don't get, I ask for help. All right. So there was training. So I wasn't left on my own left to figure out things on my own. Okay. So that's how I grew. So I wasn't left on my own. So even writing things down now, that self-doubt and limiting belief that I had that, oh, what if I'm not good at it? What if I don't know how to do the role? All that stuff. It's like you remember the backpack that I told you about, like backpack with bricks of, all the anxious thoughts, the self-doubt, the limiting beliefs, the worries. It feels like someone is physically taking those bricks out of my backpack, and the tension here is like feeling lighter, because it's like, oh yeah, they have training. So, or I can look it up, I've got a computer. I can just go, how do I do this? Right. So even if they don't have training, I can figure out along the way. All right. So there was training, so I wasn't left to my own. How did I grow? I, by doing the work. So it's not as if I'm supposed to know everything right away. Okay, so however you're feeling stuck at the moment, just think, were you in the same position like this in the past? And how did you grow? How did you feel? Right? So yes, though you were scared, apprehensive, excited for me, get into a new role. But there was like 4 to 6 weeks of training, or 2 to 4 weeks of training. So it's not as if I'm going to be thrown in the deep end and then go, all right, Marianne, do the role. Why didn't you do the role? You're fired. That's not going to happen. Because first of all, here in Australia, there are, there are laws when it comes to performance management. There's lots of steps way before you can get fired, unless of course, it's total breach of contract or whatever. But if it's for skills and things like that, there are, like, because I used to be in management and team leader roles, and sometimes you get a staff or employee that was no good, but you couldn't fire them because you have to give them an opportunity to be able to improve. And then any sort of improvement, they sort of start back from, the start. So it's not as if you go, well, you're fired, right? So I know that if by any chance I am not good at my role, that there is an opportunity for me to learn, to grow. And for a lot of jobs, there's the word is gone out of my head. You know how they give you a trial? If someone can help me in the chat, what the word is? I can't think of it. What? Probation. My husband gave me the word probation, right? So there's probation period. So the journaling prompt of how did I work through, or how well I did in those moments. So by doing the work, I was able to learn. Right. So what else? What skills did I use? So I tapped into, so in this new role that I had in the past, in a new industry, totally different product. Something I would never have thought that I would be managing. Right. I tapped into skills and experience that were transferable, right? So I have to remember, I'm going to be going into a role, same as you, whatever you're feeling stuck with at the moment, that you're going into it with experience from the past, right? With experience that what happens when you get knocked down. Have you bounced back in the past? You know, what happens when you felt embarrassed, right? Did you know how to do it? You just moved on? Or you just go, all right, you just clock it as that was an embarrassing moment. Okay. You know, maybe laughed about it later on. Okay. So have a think. The journaling prompt for here is have a think of your own history when you did well, when you proved you can get through anything. You can get through your self-doubt and limiting beliefs. Okay, so what did I say? I tapped into skills and experience that were transferable. Okay, I have to remember I am going in. I have to remember I am going in with tons of experience. Okay, so those are the things. All right, so now see how slowly I am hoping that even you, by just you listening, and maybe you're not stuck at the moment, that you are getting ideas and go, okay, next time I'm stuck, I'm going to go look at Marianne's video. I'm feeling lighter. Again, that physical tension is lifting. And so I'm actually like feeling good. It's like I'm now excited to go and look for roles and know that I'm able to manage. Okay, so in your planner, list your top strengths. Okay, so for those for you studying, you know, you study well at night. Okay, that even though all these that you can, you're great at note taking. So then when you're note taking, you know, and you're writing down your notes, and you're also a visual learner, you can picture your notes. Those are your strengths that you may not have to try and remember and memorize all the things, but you can visually know that, okay, that, you know, thing has 3 features and 3 benefits that you can, you know, that you have the skill that once you're in that moment that you can tap into previous wins, previous success. Okay, so list out your top strengths. So I can put here my strengths. Okay, my strength is I'm a freaking great learner. I love learning, and I think I retain information really well. And I know the way I do things is I use analogy or try and teach it to someone else. Normally when I learn new things, in the morning I'll say to my husband, oh, this is the thing I learned. So then if I can convey it and tell him about it and what I've learned, then I'll be able to retain that information. For you as a planner who writes things down, you have the skill of being able to retain information a lot better, because you learn it, you write it, you read it, you review it. Okay, for those of you that may be having health journey worries and you know, feeling stuck about that, just go, you are in a good position, because if you have health professionals that's in your team, if there are advocates, you have advocates that can help support you, that is a success. Write it down and then review that list every morning before starting whatever you are feeling stuck. So I can go, all right, look at my strengths, okay, and then my skills. So strengths and skills, you write yours down too. And in the morning, it's like your little mantra. Yes, I can learn. If there's things I don't know, I can find out. I can ask for help. I have experience in different areas that I can take along with me that are transferable. It's okay. I've got this. All right. And then before I need to look for a job, I'm going to take 5 minutes to just help center myself, take deep breaths, look at my mindfulness, put the timer on for 30 minutes, and look for a job. Small, actionable steps along the way instead of having the big task. Same way, break down what the things you need to do each day to get you through the journey where you are feeling stuck at the moment. All right, so if you are feeling, I'm going to use this one. Okay, maybe make it darker. Okay, so this is where you are now. Okay, and this is where you need to be here. Okay, and then you're feeling stuck because it seems like it's such a big leap to get here. What do you need to do? So let's say this is a See, this is where my analogy, okay? So this is, say, one side of the river. So the river is really, really wide, and then there's lots, the river is the water is rapid, and you can't jump that high. Okay, so this is what you're feeling, and you need to be there, and you're stuck because you don't know what to do, right? So what you do, these are stepping stones. Pretend they're stones. My drawing today's, right? These are stepping stones. So for you to get from where you are, where you're stuck, to where you need to be, and here's all the things, the worries and the self-doubt and the limiting beliefs, give yourself small, actionable steps that you can take one at a time, and it's not so overwhelming. Okay? And then sometimes if you're feeling a little bit stuck, what's a good one? This one, purple. Okay? So then if you've taken one little step and then you're still feeling stuck, it's okay to stay there for a little bit. Take a deep breath. Journal through it. Write things down again. Write those feelings again. Release it. And then go, okay, I've done that. I've done my gratitude log. I've done my victory log. I can now take the next step. And then take the next step. That's all you got to take. One tiny little step at a time. Oh, I like my little drawing. Who likes my drawing? Come on, you got to give that one a thumbs up. Okay, so there's the analogy, right? Feeling stuck, we're going to journal. We're going to acknowledge our feelings. We're going to write down our daily routine, gratitude wins, and then we're going to go and just take those things we wrote down. Okay, so I want you now to take a moment to write down 3 things you are proud of. Okay, so here I am proud of, where are we? Where's my pen? I am proud of, okay, my ability to learn anything. I have taught myself how to sew. I've taught myself how to create YouTube videos. I've taught myself how to live stream, right? Because I looked on how-tos. I, took courses, right? So I am proud of my ability to learn new things. I am proud of my ability to bounce back. Yes, I feel stuck a lot of the times. Yes, I feel doubtful and have my limiting beliefs, but I trust myself that even though I miss a day or two, or maybe not as consistent, I show up again, whenever that is, right? And I am also proud. I am proud of my resilience, right? I am proud that even when things are hard, that somewhere I find the good things. The other day, I had to pick up my son, right, because he wasn't feeling well from school, and so I had to put things down. Like there would have been an hour and a half, 2 hours that I couldn't do the things that I was doing. So at first you went, oh, now I've got to go and, travel by the light rail and the public transport. And then, I'm going, oh, is he okay? And then hopefully he's not sick for the next day because he had 2 big assignments or 2 big things. And so I was worried for him because he really didn't want to be sick. And that's why he wanted to go home to rest because Mum, I can't miss the test tomorrow. So I was worried for him because I know how for the students here in Australia, year 12, which is the last year of their high school, it's the year 12 students. So you're looking at your 16, 17-year-old, nearly 18-year-olds. During this time, which is their test time, is one of the highest times of young people, having low moments. And so I am, that's one of the worries I had, because my son probably takes after mum, that has worry thoughts from time to time, and because he is such a high achiever, he wants to do well, and he takes a lot of pride in his work. So I had those worries, right? So my story was with regards to, I am proud of my resilience, that even though in my own head I feel doubtful, limiting beliefs, I'm not good, I can't do things, that somewhere along those lines there I still see positiveness. Because when I got off the light rail, there was this elderly lady who had her walker on the top of the stairs, and I said to her, "Oh, ma'am, there's a lift you can, or elevator that you can take." And she couldn't speak English, and I was trying to tell her, there's a lift. So what I did is I went round the corner to see, and I was pressing the button and it wouldn't open. And so I'm there going, "Oh my goodness, how am I going to help this lady down the like 2 flights of stairs to get to the light rail station?" And I said, "Hang on, I'll go down the steps and maybe I can press the button from down the ground floor." And it did. It opened up, and so I took the elevator back up to where she was. And then she went in and she'd go, "You're a good girl." I said, "Oh, thank you." Right. So even in my worry, I know that I can still see light, even in the cloudy moments, in the dark storm, in my own head, that I have the resilience and the know, or the awareness to help someone else. Because I could have easily gone, "Lady, I don't have the time. I've got to pick up my son." It's like I've got my own worries to worry about, right? But in my head, I'm going, "Oh, I don't want that lady to maybe go, be stuck up there and no one help her." So, and like, I'm sure someone would have helped her. And I think that when I was going down, there was an elderly man who was on his way to help her as well. But that's what I am proud of, that I am resilient, that I can still see positiveness even in dark, low moments. Do you know why? Because of this. Because I am each and every day, right? I am taking actionable steps to make sure that I am working through it. Because I know how bad I can get when I don't take these actions, when I'm stuck in my own head and I worry myself so much and I get so sad, and I can be in a dark moment for a long time. But I am building the habit of the steps that I have talked about so far today. And so far, it's only 3, right? They're simple, actionable steps. And I hope that me going through it with my big worry at the moment will help you also be able to then apply it to the scenario that you are in, the situation you are feeling right now. Okay. So I want you to take a moment today, whether you're feeling stuck or not. If you're having a great day, do it as well. I want you to write 3 things you are proud of, big or small. Okay? So really important. Um, uh, where are we? Tell him we're all getting old and forgetful. Yes. Very forgetful. Elle, have I said hello to you? I can't remember. See, I can't remember if I said hello to you. How are you, Elle? Nice to see you. Your emotional intelligence level is quite high. Yes, that's another good one. I know. I'm going to put 4. I'm emotionally intelligent. I think the reason for that is I had to learn to help my son who's on the autism spectrum. So I went and read, I've been reading lots of different books about habit building, good habits, bad habits. James Clear's book, Atomic Habits. David Allen's How to Get Things Done, because when I had to homeschool him and then figure out, oh, that's another thing, I'm able to homeschool my son and be able to help him develop his writing and reading, and even, yes, his emotional intelligence. So I think Gail, with my emotional intelligence, is because I had to learn for the sake of my son. And while I was learning, I went, oh, Marianne, you can apply this to yourself. You can apply it for your own anxiety and all the challenging things that you're going through, you know. So I think that's where it comes from. Thank you, Gail. Yes, I think I do too. And that's it's just and through again, because of we have my husband and I have to, do it all the time to be able to learn how to help our son, is then we're also going, oh, we need to do that too for ourselves, you know. So thank you. Oh, you're awesome at that. Tech skills, yes, my tech skills. I love it. Oh, thanks. Caring about people is so important. Yes, because it's that giving back and it's that joy and it's that dopamine hit. And remember when we talked about community, being part of a community, not just asking or reaching out when we are having challenges, or when we're feeling low, or we think, or reaching out to a friend when we think they're feeling low, and just that connection, that podcast episode about how reaching out is not just about helping others, but how important it also provides you those moments of joy and happiness. So, anytime you feel, I think what I read just recently, a good friend is someone who reaches out when their friend is quiet, when you don't hear from them or you think that they're happy. Sometimes those who have the biggest smile have the biggest worry to cover up, or the biggest struggles. So don't forget to also reach out to those that we think are doing well, because they may not. Okay, so caring about people is so important. Don't be stuck in your head, Marianne. Yes, and that's why I need what I'm writing. Yes, but you have to have a talent for it. Other people may read the books but not get the benefit and know how to apply. Yes, I've been learning now is learn, because I've been stuck in the paralysis analysis. Yeah, Elle would know that we both do an online course on building our YouTube channels, right, and making sure on how to get the views, the subscribers. And in when I first bought this online course, I studied it, and then I got stuck because it was like I learned so much and I didn't apply. I didn't learn, apply, learn, apply, learn, apply. So now anytime I learn something, I apply it. I'll apply it even if I don't know what I'm doing, or that's why the showing up has been helping me also a lot, to know that, Marianne, you can do things, right? Even if it's not correct, or you drop the ball, or the mic is muted, it's okay. You can bounce back. You think outside of the box. Yes. I think what it is the way I think my brain works. Remember how from yesterday, the way my brain works, I have to explain it to myself in a way that it's easy for me to recall it and understand it. So then, when I use my analogy, it's just going. And I think also it's a great reminder for my husband and I. So when our son is having a challenging moment and he's not able to regulate his emotion and he's having a meltdown, our thing is, remember, if our son had asthma and he had to use a puffer, those breathing puffer things, right? We wouldn't go to our son who has asthma and has taken the puffs, is stop doing that, right? Because you've already taken the puffer, earlier today, right? So it's one of the, and it's the analogy, because sometimes when we're both feeling, carer burnout, we're feeling tired ourselves, we're also having a meltdown. And so we have to give that reminder. So in a split second, remind that when our son, it may be, breaking things, or he's screaming, or he's running around and unable, that if he had an asthma attack right now, we wouldn't say, don't take another puff because you've done that early, or stop that, breathe normal, right? We would never do that. He has no control of the way he's feeling. And so with regards to thinking outside of the box, is because when push comes to shove, when we have to be on point, or know what to do when things aren't going right, we have to go, how do I work this? And so but sometimes, how those who teach, what's the line? Those who teach, are not good. I can't remember. Those who aren't good teach, or something, 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 right? And it was just like, that's why I always say, do as I say, not as I do, because, here I am going, they're going to think I'm a fraud. Like, Marianne, you tell everyone to plan and take actionable step. Yet here you are not doing your exercise, right? But I want to show that I'm human. That is why I'm doing what I'm doing, because I don't do it all the time. So yeah, it can be a lot of information. That is a talent. Write it down. Thinking outside the box. Thank you, Ronnie Cat. Think outside the box. Look at that. I hope you are doing the same. I hope you are also writing down the things you're proud of and the things you are good at. Think outside the box, okay? And this is when you have written it down, this is your guide, right? And go, when you are feeling low, when you're feeling doubtful, when you're feeling stuck, you can go, I am proud of. I have been successful in the past, okay? This is your own standard of procedure, your guideline for when you are feeling stuck. I'm loving this. You teach best when you need most to learn. I love that. I love that. And I use the inhaler too. Yes, exactly, right? So I can't say to you, Ronnie Cat, come on, you've used that, or you've already taken 3 puffs. That's enough. All right. So that's our little signal to each other of, hey, I know you're also overwhelmed and you're cranky, but remember, we are able to control ourselves a lot better than our son can. Okay, so how are we going? We're going good. I think I started at 1:30, didn't I? So nearly there, nearly there. Okay, so for those of you that's popping in, please subscribe and hit that bell so then we can hang out more, and hopefully in YouTube tells you when I'm on. Okay, so hit that bell, because I did have a goal for the end of February. I won't reach it, but any little subscription will help. So I appreciate that so much. What have we got? So we've written down our capabilities, our skills, what we're proud of. All right. So I hope you're doing that. You better, because I'll go and ask. Okay. And then the thing is overcoming rejection fear. So for those of you, that talked about what will happen, what if, right? So this is our what if. What if I don't get a job? What if I get a job that I don't like? What if I get a job that doesn't fulfill me? Okay, so overcoming the rejection fear, or the what if. So whatever your situation that's making you feel stuck, right, have a think. So here, what we're going to do is we're going to shift our mindset. So for me, this is my example, remember. So I'm going to see each job application as a learning opportunity rather than a judgment of my worth. Okay, so if I don't get a job that I apply for, it's not because I'm not a good candidate. It's just at the time someone else had more experience, or someone else did better at interviewing. Sometimes there are people who I may have all the skills and all the experience in the world compared to another candidate, but they may have done a better job at interviewing in that moment. It's the same way when teachers tell students that, or teachers tell parents that, hey, remember, this test is only an indication of how well they did in that test in that moment. It is not an indication of how they are as a student for the whole year. And I think teachers give that message to parents, who sometimes, a lot of parents put a lot of pressure on their children, especially because I come from a family that immigrated here to Australia. And, my brother, a younger brother, and I, our parents came to this country to give us a better opportunity in our education that they would have, or that we would have, in where we were born, right? So parents put a lot of pressure on children to do well. And then that's when their own doubt and, the low moments and the high rate of young students not, doing themselves some harm is a lot higher. So now, because of this thing, is they tell us that the test and the score is just how you did in that moment. So it's the same thing when you do your own test or whatever you're feeling stuck, right? So this is what you need to do for the moment for you to find out the next step. So for me, the breast screening, I could have had a lot of fear and a lot of doubt and be scared and be anxious before the test came. But we just have to have the mindset shift that the moment and actions that we take is we can look at it as either a learning opportunity and not judge ourselves for it. And if it is something that might be, painful, like that, people may judge you, or that you may not get the job role that you want, or that you may get some bad news, we'll go and deal with that when the time comes. There's no point in worrying about it now. And if we do worry about it, what do? We write it down. We go write down our feeling and how fears, all right? So we go back to the start, okay? So if you feel stuck, create a simple tracker in your planner to help you visualize your progress, okay? So you can either have a victory log of all the good things you did today, the success or the win. So you are tallying up all the wins, and then the brain will look for more wins in your day. You can have a victory log like this, or you can have a habit tracker. Okay, so guess what? This is a freebie as well. See, I love you guys. I want to make sure that you have, because sometimes the thing that stops us is the tool we need. So I'm going to help you feel unstuck by giving you these things. So if you have a printer and you have some paper, print it out so you don't have to try and figure out layouts yourself. Okay, so far, what's that? You've got daily affirmation, 5 weeks worth. You've got a brain dump, their freebie, and this habit tracker is also a freebie, because I want us to all work together in helping ourselves get unstuck. And for us to do this is, let's make it easy. Let's have a little planner that printable that help we can just fill it in. So like a paint by numbers, which is what I use when I help to get myself unstuck. Okay, so just follow along. My habit tracker. Okay, so if you're studying, what's the habit you want to start, continue, or end, right? So I want to look after my health, okay? I want to learn more about a certain skill, okay? So it's there. It's got the little prompts on what to write. Now, it is a little bit, like the spacing is a little bit smaller. So if you have big writing, maybe use it as a guide. But I wanted to fit in a lot in the one page, because sometimes when you have to flip through to another page, then visually you want everything in one page. Okay, so write down the habit, the task that you need to do each day, and look, it's got a little habit tracker. And you can even put like habit anchoring or habit stacking. So if you need to go and learn, or if you need to look after yourself, your health journey, taking your medicine, going out for your walk, making sure you're eating well, you can have that, and it's got 3 weeks worth. So then you could go, that didn't work out. Let's go and revise and review and pivot the next week. Okay. So a simple tracker like this in your planner will help you visualize your progress. So if you're studying, study for 5 minutes. Do your dot marker, or you highlight. Yes, oh, that's a win. Yes, the brain is going, woohoo, let's do this again, because we're getting the dopamine hits. We're marking things as complete. Okay, oops, we miss a day, that's okay, we pick it up again the next day. All right, so a tracker like this will help you see your progress. All right, let's quickly have a look. I hope your son has a nebulizer in case of emergency. No, he doesn't actually have that. Ronnie Cat, he doesn't have asthma. Is the nebulizer for asthma? No, he doesn't have asthma. That's the analogy that helps my husband and I know that if we're not, if our son is having a meltdown and we're also having a meltdown, that it's a reminder, a visual reminder for us that he has no control. Like we can't tell him to stop what he's doing. So if because he stims and he jumps up and down and he makes loud noises, and if we're out in public, the old us would go, shh, shh, stop, stop, don't do that. And we're trying to help make him fit into society, when really society should understand that my son has different needs and different abilities. So no, he doesn't. So if the nebulizer is for asthma, that's just our analogy, that when he is having his meltdown and he needs these different regulating techniques that may not be acceptable by the majority of the community, that we can't go stop doing that, because it's like saying don't take an inhaler if you're having an asthma. So that's our little analogy. um, when I first met a friend, she was running around her house and she fell. She gets up and says, get up and try it again. So I always think of her jumping back up and running as fast as she could again. Excellent. And she was only 6 at the time. All right. So there we go. So far, overcoming your rejection. Just track your visual. So use a tracker to see your progress. Now, if you don't hear, for me, a thing that I could write down in my planner for my own particular, overwhelm and how I'm stuck is, so I'm going to write, for me, if I don't hear back from the employer or the job that I apply, I'm going to write down what I learned and how I can improve for the next application. Okay, so reflect on the things, however you're feeling, how you can use it as a learning opportunity rather than judging yourself. Yeah, so no, my son doesn't have asthma. It's just the analogy and the visual my husband and I use to help us ensure that we are not stopping him from using his regulation techniques. Okay, so the final, what have we got? It's overcoming, and okay, and this is one of the best ones, is self-care and energy management. Okay, so schedule in your breaks. How much have I talked about taking your breaks and self-care activities? This could be your walk, your creative time, planning in your planner, embellishing your pages with washi tapes, embellishing your pages with little positive quotes, writing, creating dash lines to highlight your top priorities, writing down colorful um, victories of the day, picking out whatever, colorful markers. These are all self-care activities. Sometimes we think self-care is about, although I did do my manicure myself, that it's all the things that, take a bubble bath, take a relaxing spa day, right? Self-care can be as quick and simple as 5 deep breaths, closing your eyes and just staring outside if you have trees or nature, reading, crocheting, painting. Some of you might start to be sewing, right? Creating stickers, all these things. Go and schedule it in. For me, as you know, I time block my meals, right? Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So those are little anchors or stake in the ground for myself throughout the day that, hey, take a break. Stop working through it. You need to replenish. You need to reset. You need to re-energize. Get myself outside. Go for a walk. Have watch TV with my husband. Okay. Unwind. So I think on my habit tracker, I have unplug. Okay. So get off my phone, unwind. All right. So after dinner, don't go back and look at my content and look at the algorithm, see how many views. Unwind, unplug, take a break. 1 minute deep breathing, get up and stretch, get outside, eat fruit, write your mood, right? Even like a 5 minute tidy up is a reset. It's like a, um, you know, um, pit stop. When the car races do a pit stop, it helps break your day and remind you to take care of yourself and schedule in breaks. Okay, so some mindfulness activity you can try is grounding exercise, where you describe 5 things. So if you're feeling stuck at the moment, actually my son is doing exactly the same thing, right? So I saw this as one of the things that his OT sent out with him, and we can use this, because this is where I learned about grounding techniques, or I think in the mindfulness world, they call it noting, right? So noting, grounding exercise is where you describe 5 things you can see. Okay, so if you're feeling overwhelmed, oh my God, this is really nerve-wracking. I have to apply. I haven't applied for a job. I need to apply for a job because we need to get money. We need to make sure that, I'm helping my family financially, right? If I'm feeling overwhelmed, I go, okay, 5 things I can see: my phone, my highlighters, my mouse, my light, my mug. Okay, so because then what you're doing there is you're focusing in the moment, right? So you're like slowing your brain to go, whoa, slow down. How do we slow it down? Look for 5 things you can see. Four things you can feel. My linen pants, I don't know if you can see the foam of my microphone, my little fake IKEA plant. It's smooth and the back of it is bumpy. Okay, the wood of my stamp. Okay, the smoothness of my nail polish. Okay, 3 things you can hear: the fridge, the refrigerator's humming, the traffic outside, my heart rate, my chair squeaking. So that's already 4, right? 2 things you can smell. Can't smell anything at the moment. Oh, I can smell the strawberry flavor of my lip balm. Okay. What else? Plasticky, right? Okay. And 1 thing you can taste. Well, my lip balm doesn't have a flavor, just my tongue. Okay, so try those grounding exercise where it helps you slow down. Write down your breaks in your planner. You need to be intentional about it. Don't take the breaks just when you need it. You need to plan ahead, right? You don't take breaks when you're already burnt out. It's the same way that, when you are thirsty, you're already dehydrated. So to drink the 6 to 8 glasses of water throughout the day. Okay, so when you're planning your self-care, I have a self-care breaks checklist. So there are 3 types of breaks you should be taking throughout your day, your week, and your month. Okay, because this is going to help burnout. So burnout, all right, with the World Health Organization, I think in 2019, has declared burnout as an occupational hazard, not hazard, whatever the word is, right? So when you feel any or 1, 2, or 3 of these, you're already burnt out, right? Profound emotional exhaustion. Yes, me. Right, feeling overwhelmed, feeling like I'm no good, that I'm not doing enough, and I feel sad, I feel hopeless, I feel helpless. Okay, so I'm probably burnt out. Okay, other thing is generalized negativity, also called cynicism. I know when I'm burnt out when I'll see like a reel on YouTube or on Instagram, and I'm like critical. It's like, oh, it's like, or I'm resentful about someone else doing better. Okay, that's when I know, Marianne, why do you care that someone else is doing better than you? They didn't take away anything from you. Okay, so I know I'm burnt out. Feelings of professional inefficacy. So this is when you feel that you are no good at what you're doing. So yeah, that's me. So I'm burnt out. Okay. And I know I haven't actually been actively taking all the breaks at the same time. So micro breaks are things, rest for a few minutes several times a day. Okay, that's your 1 minute deep breathing, getting up from your desk, going for a walk, going outside. Okay, even tidying up your desk at the end of the day. They're called micro breaks. Only take a 1 to 2 minutes or a few minutes, but take them throughout the day and make sure you are scheduling it in. So then it's part of your habit. Okay, the 5 minute, I've got 5 minute cleaning, unwind, unplug, go for a walk. Okay, so micro break. Meso breaks are the 1 to 2 hours off every week. You know, when you hang out with me, I mean, you've been hanging out with me a lot this week for the last 21 days. So let's say I was just doing my Monday plan with me and we hang out for 1 to 2 hours. That's a meso break. Yes, hanging out with Marianne and the Plannerets community is a meso break because you are taking time for yourself. Okay, but schedule it in. 1 to 2 hours could just be you going to the cafe on your own. No other agenda. Don't go get the shopping or the grocery unless, of course, that's an activity you like. Okay, because I know a lot of people like going to the shops. Okay, and then the macro break, every month you need to take half to a full day off just for you. Okay, I mean, you can, go on a date with your partner or hang out with friends, right? But it's an activity, it's an internal reward that no one else will know that you're giving yourself this little break. It's not for the Instagram, although I know a lot of people share those type of things, right? But this half to a full day off for yourself. So these are the types of breaks you should be taking. Now, for those of you who probably last month who were part of my email newsletter. As a thank you, I gave this away. So that's why it's important to make sure don't turn off, don't unsubscribe to my email news because, from time to time, I give freebies away. I mean, I give a lot of freebies away, right? So there is where you plan. You go, what type of micro breaks should I take each day? What can I plan each and every week of the month? An hour to 2 hours off a week. It could be watching your favorite YouTuber. It could be just watching a movie, okay? And then half to a full day off. This is not just like a weekend off. It's an actual intentional break you are taking for yourself, something you enjoy, right? And it doesn't have to be like an outing. It could be I'm going to go and, you know what I found? I found a little pattern to help crochet peonies. Is that right? Peonies, the flower. So I'm going to buy that pattern and see if I can make little peonies that I could put in my hair and or maybe even just make my planner desk pretty. All right. So where are we? Are we still good? There's a few of you still here. Nearly there, nearly there. Okay, so make sure you are liking if you're getting lots of aha moments. So self-care and energy management. We talked about energy management. We're not just planning for time management, also plan for your energy. So if you know you have the most energy at the beginning of the day, schedule your tasks, to-dos where it requires more brain power during those days, and things like, maybe emailing or tidying up, do it on the part of the day where your energy isn't as high. Okay, so self-care and energy management. Okay, so recap of the key takeaways from today's Getting Unstuck. 1, acknowledge and release your feelings. Write it down, journal it. Have a planner that is dedicated for just how you feel, your wins, your worries, your accolades, your thoughts, everything, right? You can have it a pretty journal that's just dedicated for that. You can either get my brain dump that's freebie or get my brain dump printable that has this worry, like a worry log, or you have thoughts one, I also do have an ideas one. So if you go, okay, these are the things I need to do to get me out of, get me unstuck, right? Ideas, this could be your self-care ideas. What can I do this month that's just for me? What can I do that's each and every week that's 1 to 2 hours off that I will enjoy? Okay, and then so the or you can just have this brain dump, or I call it brain dump / mind map. Let me just make sure I show you all the different ones. They all come in one listing. Okay, so in the same listing, you have a copy of the worry, so it's a back to front, the thought bubble, okay, the ideas one, or just a plain one that you can maybe put a nice little sticker. You can even put a picture. You even can use this as a memory keeping, right? So maybe March, and then the picture. It's my husband's anniversary, our wedding anniversary in 8 days. We'll be married 17 years, right? So you can even use this as a memory keeping. So this comes in one listing, and I've got the link in the description. Okay, the other things, this is a freebie, my habit tracker, to be able to track your progress. Okay, so acknowledge and release your feelings by journaling and writing everything. No filters, no judgment. These are your self-doubt, the fear, the overwhelm. 2, create a daily routine that's going to help you break down your task into small, actionable steps, so then you are able to get from here, where you're stuck, and where you need to be, with just small stepping stones for you, instead of trying to jump a big hurdle or trying to get too overwhelmed with whatever journey you're on at the moment. Okay, write down daily goals, your top 3 priorities. Write what you're grateful for, your wins of the days in a victory log. All right, also build evidence of your capabilities. You guys were so good to help me with my capabilities. It's so much easier for us to see how the good in others, but sometimes we have a difficulty in writing things we are proud of, things we are great at, because you know why? It's because we just haven't had the practice. That's all. Because a lot of times society have told us, don't toot your own horn, because that's a little bit, you're a little bit snobbish by going and thinking you're how good you are. It's just we haven't had practice, or we've told to shh, be quiet, right? Or we have in Australia, there's the tall poppy syndrome. We're all great for the underdogs. We encourage, we cheer on the underdogs, but when that underdog gets to the top, we go, oh, now you're too big for you. You think you're so good, and then we knock them down. Why do we do that? We should be encouraging each other, like you have with me, but more so encourage yourself. Note down the good things you are great at, the successes you've had in the past, the evidence of how good you are in those moments that you were once stuck, but you got yourself out of it. And now you just have to remember that you've done it before. You can do it again. Okay, so write down what you're proud of and your successes. The other takeaway is overcoming the fear, the what if. Write it down. What if? Write down the worst scenario that can happen. Okay, and then just go, what do you need to do if that happens? Or don't even worry about it yet until you get to that point. Why worry yourself twice? All right, so really important. What's the worst thing? Or don't even worry about it until it happens, because it might not even happen, and then you're worried about it all this time. Okay, look for the good things in your day, your wins, and then make sure you are looking after yourself, and time schedule in, not just for time management, for your energy. Schedule in your breaks. Don't be like me, when in my 20s, in my 30s, I'll rest when I'm dead, right? No, because you need to build the habit of taking the breaks, so then you don't feel guilty about it, and then you don't think that it's selfish. Self-care is essential, because we cannot be our best self if we haven't rested, if we haven't taken the time to enjoy our day, add some fun, add some playfulness and creativity and joy and things like that. Okay, By making self-care a priority, it's going to help you stay grounded, slow you down, help you focus on the moment, help that mindfulness activity, and it's looking after your well-being. Okay? And then it'll quieten down the fear. You will get to challenge yourself and say, am I really bad at this? No, I am good. I am great. Okay. So what's one thing you're going to do today? For I know for a lot of you, it's quite late now. Okay. What are you going to do to move forward? Right? Remember, progress happens one step at a time, and you are capable of it. You guys can see it in me. I hope you can see it in yourself too. You are worthy. You've got this. And thank you for hanging out. And I will see you next time. Bye, everybody. Bye.